Well, hello everyone out there. Welcome back to Birth 2012 TV. This is your host, Stephen Dinan, and I want you to be able to feel in this next half hour the electricity that's starting to surge around the world as events are activating, people are mobilizing. There's a palpable sense of people recognizing there's something really big happening this week. And we're going to hear more about that today with some updates from the field, and I'm also going to get a chance to introduce you to my beloved partner in life and in this work, Devaa. So we're in for a real treat. And as we've been doing each episode, we want to begin with 3 minutes of love because we are leading into 3 days of love. And the 3 days of love is really important for our world because it's about really creating a different kind of experience for those 3 days in order to birth a new era. Because birthing a new era is only abstract unless we actually have a lived experience that it's different somehow. And love is that foundational shift that we all need to make. So let's begin with 3 minutes of love.
Hi folks, it's an honor to be here with you today. So I'm just going to invite you to get comfortable for the next 3 minutes. Go ahead, and if you're in a safe place to do so, I'm just going to invite you to close your eyes and just start taking a few deep breaths into your heart. And I would invite you to even place a hand on your heart. Sometimes I like to place a hand on my belly as well. Just imagine that you are breathing directly into your heart. I often like to imagine a color, so you can imagine that you're filling up with a color dark red, which is one of the colors I associate with Earth and with the energy of the Great Mother. Just from the base of your spine, imagining that there is a taproot that has dropped deep into the earth and allowing that taproot to be sucking up the energy of the earth into your body, into your being. And just allowing that energy to enter into your body as you're receiving the love, that love energy from Mother Earth. And now imagine from the shoulders and from the top of your head that there's branches sprouting up towards the sky, you as this big tree. And bringing in the energy from the sky now down into your body, into your being. And again, focusing on your heart, seeing your heart being connected to other hearts around the world. So all those people connected to Birth 2012, to this movement, just imagining them lit up like little lights around the globe. And then seeing another ring around that, another ring of beings who might not be connected to Birth 2012, but are connected to this wave, this shift happening on our planet at this time. Just allowing yourself to take a few deep breaths, breathing in that loving support energy. Just letting it nourish your heart, letting it nurture you. And now breathing out your love, sending a feeling of peace, sending a feeling of compassion and love into the grid work, into the network. So just both giving and receiving this wave of love across our planet. Taking a few more deep breaths. Now slowly opening your eyes again, just coming back to this moment. And thank you for your willingness to be a part of this 3 minutes of love wave. And thank you, Stephen, for hosting it.
Our publicist was commenting that in the first few episodes we have had 5 men, and she was saying, where are the women? And so today we are going into the feminine. And it is appropriate because in many ways the shift of eras is a shift from a masculine era to one in which women are finding their power and their voice and the rightful role in the society, and we're rebalancing our collective, bringing the feminine energy more to the forefront. So that's why I'm so delighted to bring today my beloved Devaa, who's very accomplished in many realms, from from business to leading nonprofits. She was an anthropologist, she's been a minister, and now she runs our women's programs, and perhaps more importantly, really brings the feminine energy into the whole work of the Shift Network. So welcome, Devaa.
Thank you, Stephen. It's a pleasure to be the first woman on your show.
Well, let's begin with just the rise of the feminine, and just if you can speak to that, what you're seeing through your work, and how that's part of this larger birthing of a new era.
It's really beautiful. It's clear that there is such a rise happening of women's energy, women's spirituality, women's work around the world, and just the sheer interest that has been expressed for our programs. We went from having, we probably had about 20 or 25,000 women the first year interested in a summit that I was creating called the Inspiring Women Summit, and then from there it's just been growing and birthing, and many, many more people are joining our work. We have about 70,000 women now, but really as I'm looking out beyond what we're doing at the Shift Network into the world, I see that there is such a hunger for programs that really go into the depth of the feminine, and many women, including myself, have really asked, well, what does it mean to really reclaim the feminine? What is feminine spirituality? What does it mean to be a full spectrum woman? Because most of us have grown up in a very masculine culture, and while that's shifting, many of us, and I include myself in that, had to essentially put aside many of our more feminine aspects in order to walk in a largely men's world. I remember back in being at BCG, where I worked as a consultant, and I would wear a pantsuit and pull my hair back in a ponytail, wear glasses, and hope that maybe no one would realize that I was a woman, or trying to really just didn't feel comfortable in my own skin.
Trying to compete in a man's world.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, I think it's really important that we look at that, like how to bring feminine in all levels. It's not just about women having more political power, business power, which is great and important, but it's like the feminization of business, the feminization of politics, the feminization of how we even view leadership. And so what are the qualities that the deep feminine brings in as we reclaim that?
Well, there's many different qualities, and when we talk about the feminine, I just want to first clarify, we're not just talking only about women, we're talking about the feminine in men and women. I heard someone, I think it was Mayan Williamson, made a great quote saying, women are majoring in feminine and minoring in masculine, and men are majoring in masculine and minoring in feminine. So we all have both of these poles. And in the programs that I work with deeply, we look at all different aspects of the feminine. There's 13 different archetypes or aspects that we explore really deeply, but some of the qualities include, first of all, your presence. What is your radiant feminine presence, and just the depth of who you're being in the midst of all we're doing in the world? Who are you being, and what is the level of radiance you can express, the level of joy you can express? There's qualities like compassion. There's also qualities more like your more sensual feminine. That's connected not just to your sexuality, which is oftentimes what we see in the TV world or on movies, but really just your own enjoyment of the senses. So really letting yourself just enjoy the feeling of the water on your skin in the shower, or really letting yourself smell deeply the scent of an essential oil or of dinner cooking.
Right.
And then there's the fierce feminine, which many people think of as more masculine, but I've heard it described often as the mama bear energy. What is that energy that's fierce, that's willing to speak her truth, not in a way that's labeled as, shouldn't probably say some of the words, but it can be, that energy can be labeled and pretty negatively. But to be in that strong, fierce feminine where you're willing to stand up for what you believe in, you're willing to really speak your truth and to reclaim all these different parts of ourselves. So there's many different
What strikes me is in the patriarchal era, basically, it's like women had a much narrower spectrum available of role models and archetypes and energies that were permitted. And then that is going to compromise the health of the whole. And so you get this kind of overbalance of masculine kind of dominating a more narrow spectrum feminine. And so for us to really go to the next level, we got to have women just like suiting up with full spectrum all the way, like full on and tender, vulnerable, all the different parts. And that actually helps men to step into their fullness in a way too, which I've really experienced in our dance, and it's playing out with the whole birth as well. Since what we've discovered is even the metaphor of the birth has drawn probably 70% women to play leadership roles in it. So we have women all over the world who are drawn to be midwives and catalysts for this birth, and so it's like the birthing metaphor is right at the root of feminine metaphor, and that it's appropriate appropriate for this turning of eras.
Yeah, you mentioned a word, Stephen, that I think is really important. You said vulnerable. And that's something that I've been working a lot with, and I see a lot of us wanting to bring forward more of our vulnerability and not seeing that as a weakness, but really standing in our vulnerability and our authenticity as a strength. And that's what allows people to really relate to us. So whether we're, on this TV show today or out in the world, to really reveal, like, wow, we're humans having this spirit, or these spiritual beings having this human experience, and how can we be willing to share some of the things that maybe people aren't always talking about, the harder moments, the more painful things, and in that really revealing our humanity and giving other people permission to be deeply human as well, which I think is something that people are starting to get a lot more comfortable with. But that's one of the things I noticed. I did a few articles where I was pretty revelatory about things in my own experience. And recently, those have been the things that people really want to talk about, or people really noticed, or said, "Wow, I was surprised and so delighted."
About getting fired, about
yeah, about some of those things. That was actually kind of a funny story where I was practicing. I was doing a practice video of a moment that I felt was one of my more embarrassing or humiliating moments in life. Was getting fired, and then somehow that video ended up going on YouTube, and I was kind of horrified at the beginning, and then suddenly I started getting this flood of emails coming in from people saying, "I so appreciate your willingness to talk about this. I had a similar experience," and I got way more feedback from that than I did from any of the things I put out there where I've showed a more polished side of myself. And so I realized, wow, people really want to know that their humanity is okay, and that all of us have these moments, and really to look at how are we growing through those moments? How is our life and our soul providing a curriculum that we're really growing through?
Well, it strikes me also as we've been talking a little bit more about the planetary birth, but it's every one of us has to go through that birthing into a new us.
Exactly.
And so when you bring it down to the particulars, it's like we have to get really vulnerable about where we've been hurt, where we've been blocked, where we've been stuck, our failures, because that's the curriculum that we've gone through in order to blossom into the next stage. So if we're BSing about that, if we're hiding it, we're not actually going to be able to be real in opening to a new way of being.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I'd love for you let's turn to the actual event. I think it'd be interesting for folks to hear a little bit about how you and some of your soulful sisters are approaching the Birth 2012 work in a different way than we've been talking about.
Yeah, well, it's interesting, so much attention has been put on, who are all the stars that are coming and all the consciousness leaders, which is really exciting and beautiful and amazing. And what I realized is there was kind of a frenzy of excited energy going on with this event, and the feminine also is really about grounding into the still point, and that still point at the center. And so we realized that there really needed to be a space when there's a lot of outward energy going on with all the speakers, a place that could be still, that could be quiet, that could be really a healing temple happening on site at the Birth 2012 events. And so we started just setting the field with we were doing a daily meditation call at noon that we've now moved to 11:30 before this to set the field for these daily broadcasts that Stephen's doing. And so we're doing a meditation call every day, just creating this energy wave so that people are starting to, what we call, gentle the birth. Out there on the planet, a lot of people are concerned, they're worried, there's nervous energy about this transition time, so to create this meditation space. And then at the sanctuary itself, I just got off a call this morning with a lot of people that are planning to be a part of it. And just imagine you walk into the event and you experience someone who is washing your hands in silence and is anointing you on your third eye with sacred oils, and is greeting you and welcoming you into a space that is lit by candles, that is smelling like roses, where there's meditation happening, where there might be yoga or chanting happening. There's going to be some different ritual aspects, a healing ritual where people will be involved in a more ceremonial context there. And so it's a way for people to really engage with all that's going on, and then to have that inner time where we can sit in quiet and stillness and retreat, so that there's a way to metabolize all the exciting things that are going on.
Right, and it just brings up the point that also around the birth in general, sometimes people feel obligated, I have to create a big event or do something big, that actually being in a really deep, still, receptive, open place could be part of the largest gift to this collective field of love we're creating.
Yeah, and so if you're not already going to an event, I would encourage you to consider starting something in your living room. It doesn't have to be a huge thing. It could just be you and a group of men and women soul allies, as we like to call them, just sitting in silence, in meditation, and just sharing your hearts. What is it at this time? What's your intention? What does the birth mean to you? What do you want to bring into the world at this time?
Let's shift gears a little bit.
Okay.
And you're not only a teacher of women's work, but you're also a musician, which I love, and it's been beautiful to watch you blossom in that. And you're going to be performing at the gala event, which is really exciting for me. That I'm kind of bringing the masculine, you bring the feminine in with your song and this beautiful dance, and right after I talk. And so I'd love for you to share a little about that and show a clip from the video you just completed this week.
Okay.
Say a little about it first.
Well, so this is a video that we'll be showing in just a moment. We'll show you a brief clip, but it came actually at one of the retreats with Barbara Marx Hubbard. I was staying actually in the same, close to the same hotel room I'm staying in right now, and I was in this retreat with Barbara all day, and obviously she's always talking about birthing and consciousness work, and so I actually had to. This song started coming into my head at night, and Stephen was asleep in the bed next to me, and so I had to keep getting out of bed, running into the bathroom to turn on the light to write down the lyrics of the song. I have a little iPhone, so I'd be recording in the bathroom, then I'd crawl back in bed, and then suddenly new lyrics, a new verse would come. I'd get out of bed, go into the bathroom, write it down. And the song is called Birth of a New Way, and it's really a lot about what is it that we're bringing forward. You know, one era is ending and a new one's beginning, so this is in honor of birthing.
Well, let's see a clip.
All right.
It's the birth of a new way on planet Earth. We welcome this new day on planet Earth. It's the birth of a new way on planet Earth. We welcome this new day on planet Earth. If I commit to make a shift, will you commit to give your gift? If we be the change that we wanna see, the shift comes down to you and me. It's the birth of a new way on planet Earth. We welcome this new day on planet Earth. It's the birth of a new way on planet Earth. We welcome this new day on planet Earth. If our ego moves from the driver's seat, our essence reveals a sacred love so sweet. As we join together in synergy, we're invited to live our divinity. It's the birth of a new way on planet Earth. We welcome this new day on planet Earth. It's the birth of a new way on planet Earth. We welcome this new day on planet Earth. We are the ones we've been waiting for, but we're not waiting anymore. The time is now and we are here. Embrace deep love, releasing fear. Embrace deep love, releasing fear.
Love it. Rock and
You just
work.
saw that video
I know.
last
I
night
mean, you
for the
did
first time.
such a great job with that, and it really speaks to just the full spectrum feminine we've been talking about.
And it's a sneak preview. It's not even out there yet in
Yes,
the
a
world, so
sneak
you're seeing
preview.
it
You're
first
getting it first.
here. Yeah.
But let's. We only have a couple more minutes with you. I also want to bring up something that was really significant that we saw a touch of in there with Sequoia doing a little water blessing. We participated in a ceremony with Indigenous elders, and we'd love for you to share about that.
It was really beautiful. We were in New Mexico with grandmother Flor de Mayo, one of the 13 Indigenous grandmothers, and what was so amazing was the men, the Indigenous men, as we were asking them, hey, what is this change all about? End of 2012, new era, and Don Alejandro, who's the head of the Mayan people, said, well, the biggest change really is the shift from masculine leadership to feminine leadership. And they created this whole ceremony that Stephen took part in, and they had created a staff that was literally to transfer the power from the 5,200 years that men have been leading and ruling, and they gave the staff and said, now it's the women's turn. And each woman who was present at the ceremony was given one little piece of string that's been wrapped around this staff, and they named each of us as clan mothers, saying, we really want you now to go forth and tend to your clans, and we're going to support you as men. And they did a lot of, we forgive you for, we're asking you to forgive us and to, you know, heal the wounds and to heal the Inquisition. And it was really, really beautiful. I was surprised, not expecting it, but the ceremonial transfer of power was really,
Very
really
beautiful.
important. Yeah.
So I think as we're entering into this window this week, and we got all the buzz of things happening around the world, just remembering everyone out there to anchor in the feminine in ourselves and to that deep stillness out of which this new era can be born, gentling the birth, to use your language and Barbara's language, and to really honor that it's a sacred moment of marking the restoring of the harmony and balance between the masculine and feminine as well.
Yes, it is. So we're all a part of it, and thanks for doing your part out there as well too.
Great. And we'll now go into some updates after a little break. All right, well, welcome back, and I wanted to share a little bit about some of the exciting developments in the field. First of all, one of the exciting new additions to the Agape stage program is Chaka Khan is going to be joining us. She's a 10-time Grammy Award winner on the music side, and she's also a philanthropist who has a foundation working to empower and educate children and youth. So she's really somebody who embodies exactly what we're talking about, to help the culture evolve through artistic expression. We've talked a lot about artistry and the importance of that, and to also be giving back and serving the next generation. So we're particularly excited to bring her into the program. Another addition to the program in Los Angeles that will be very cool is somebody named Andrew Jones, or Android Jones is his stage name. He is a renowned artist, visual artist, who works with his wife. They do kind of a combination of dance and painting, and I've heard it described and seen little parts of it, and it's supposed to be just off the hook amazing. So we're going to be having a live performance from him on the main stage as well as in the after party as well. So it's going to be add just a whole nother dimension of kind of embodied, multifaceted spirituality to have that in there. So we got some other announcements coming soon. There's some big name music acts I think are likely to land, and so the Agape program just keeps getting hotter and hotter. So it's real, and we're going to have the heat on the main stage, and we'll have the warm, welcoming feminine depths in the healing temple as the women hold space for that as well. So very exciting program. I also wanted to give a little taste of what's happening in the field. We invited our friends over in Jerusalem to send us a brief clip from the Mount of Olives, where a lot is going to be happening in Jerusalem. So I want to just bring that up right now and give you a feeling for the kind of energy and enthusiasm and love that's being shared right there. So let's cue that.
Shalom.
Salam.
Salam. My name is Pesach David, and this is...
My name is Ibrahim Abul Hawa from Mount of Olives, Jerusalem.
Hi, Steve, and Global Shift Network. We are so excited and getting ready for December 21st.
We are here in the front of the Dome of the Rock and the Aqsa Mosque, and this is the fourth parade today, and you can hear it from the Aqsa Mosque in the old city.
And that's what we want to do. We're putting out a call to prayer. That's what's happening all around us right now.
This is call to prayer. God call in this minute.
Yeah, so we're calling on all humans to spend, December 21st, December 22nd, to take some time to put our intention into the oneness, how we're all connected, to connect in a peaceful, loving way for a greater harmony. We're going to be doing it, right, Ibrahim?
Yes.
We're doing it?
Inshallah.
All right, inshallah. I'm going to be at the Kotel, at the Western Wall. We're going to be holding space there. And Ibrahim, where are you going to be?
We'll be in the Aqsa Mosque.
At the Al-Aqsa Mosque. And we're going to be calling back and forth to each other and sending good energy. If we can do it, anybody can do it. Any two people.
Pray for us and pray with us.
Pray for us and pray with us. Amen. Bye, Steve.
Okay.
All right.
That's such a great spirit about that clip. I really love it, and it just gives you a sense for what's starting to happen around the world. I mean, it's just happening in a big and beautiful way. So a few of the things that I wanted to share about. First of all, we're going to start our movies now. Movie releases are going to happen 1 or sometimes 2 a day from this point forward. There's a whole plethora of movies that are really speaking right into this moment, that are really about awakening and about 2012 as a transition point. We're going to have films like Mayan Renaissance, Shift of the Ages, and today, right after this program, we're going to have Awaken, Soul to Soul, which is a beautiful documentary with some real wisdom elders and healers, including Barbara Marx Hubbard, who are speaking into the awakening that is underway on a planetary scale. And so we're going to want to really dive into that. with them. So I encourage you to stick around. It'll be available on video on demand, so you can, if you miss it live, you can watch it whenever from this point forward. So each day we're going to roll out some more, sort of our Birth 2012 Film Festival. Figured why not do a film festival on top of a TV show? It's everything. It's an abundance of great offerings coming. I also wanted to mention another thing that's very cool. The 3 Days of Love campaign has a video and picture campaign that encourages you to submit these. Basically, Shepard Fairey is the artist who did the 3 Days of Love logo. He's a very famous artist. He's become very renowned. He put out the call for other artists to submit videos about love that speak to this. We encourage you to create videos from your heart that create a field of love and possibilities. And what we're going to do is, as the best of those emerge, we're going to choose those to be little spots woven into the global broadcast. So you can get on the global webcast amidst all these other events and big name authors and speakers and musicians if you create something that has like heart and depth and beauty and power and magic in it. So if you can tap into your own creative muse and find that artistry that bring forth more love in the world, we encourage you to submit that. You can go to 3 Days of Love. Actually, the Facebook page is the best place to go, so you can submit it and share it and help multiply it out. So those are just a few of the things that are really cooking out there, and there's always more to share with Los Angeles Agape event. Another thing to bear in mind that I did send out a notice this weekend about is we do have a new 90-second trailer for the Birth 2012 movement created by Mickey Willis at Elevate, which is a really fantastic media production studio. And if you go to, you can find it on the homepage of Birth 2012 or birth2012la.com. And you can also find it on YouTube. We'd love for you to share it with friends on YouTube and turn it into more of a viral sensation, because it just has a lot of poetry and power to it. Very simple, but very beautiful. So as you share that with your friends, there's a lot of opportunities. I encourage you to also share Facebook events so people know to participate. So now is the time we're going to be really amplifying the viral outreach. Our friends at Unify, we've been continuing to deepen the relationship and looking at how to really unify with Unify. And they're going to have a whole, I think, 20 people doing social media outreach for the full week to build the buzz and energy to maximize the number of people globally participating in the 2 main meditations that they've been focused on, which is on 3:11 a.m. Pacific time on Friday and noon Pacific time. Those are going to be really big global ones. It'll kick off a whole 24-hour cycle from noon Friday to our gala on Saturday. And just a final note on the global webcast program, we also have Dara Berlin, a big project in New York that is going to be featuring content on Thursday as well. So we got a lot of great stuff coming. And I want to just give a final shout out and thank you to Devaa. You are my beloved, you are my muse, and so much of this has been birthed from our love. So thank you for sharing it today with our people out there.
Thank you. Thanks, sweetie. It's great to be here with you, and yeah, thanks to everyone for being part of this wave of love and this movement. It's a movement.
Great. So go, spread it, enjoy, and we'll see you again tomorrow.